This happened during my sophomore year of college, on my exchange program trip to Beijing. It was the school's spring break, and I didn't want to miss the chance to see the pandas in Chengdu. The plane ticket was expensive, so I settled for the 20-hour high-speed train. Fun times. They put me in the hard sleeper compartment of the train, sharing a section with an older Chinese woman who had just gotten knee replacement surgery. She was maybe in her 60s, always had her hair in a braid, and spent most of the journey either sleeping or watching videos on her phone. I didn't really care. I was just trying to settle in and enjoy the scenery. I tried to be respectful. Like every time I had to climb down from my bunk to get to the bathroom, I'd tiptoe and move super slow so I wouldn't wake her up. I felt bad that the bathroom was closer to my lower bunk, and she had to hear me shuffling back and forth. So I tried to limit my trips and keep the noise down. When I talked to my family on my phone, I'd quietly chat about my classes and my adventures in China. Normal stuff. The Chinese lady would glance over sometimes, but never said anything to me. Not a hi, not a smile, nothing. Which was fine. I wasn't there to make friends. But this lady talked on the phone constantly, and I mean loud. Like the whole compartment could probably hear her conversations with her daughter. She'd be going on in Mandarin Chinese, just chatting about her surgery, complaining about the train food, the usual. Here's the thing though, I started taking Chinese classes my freshman year. I wasn't fluent or anything, but I could pick up enough to understand the basics of what people were saying. My professor was this meticulous guy who made us practice listening exercises for hours, so I'd gotten pretty decent at catching keywords and phrases. One night, I'm lying in bed trying to sleep, and she's on the phone again, talking at full volume like it's the middle of the day. I'm exhausted, everything hurts, and I just want to pass out. But then I hear her say something that makes me freeze. She's telling her daughter about her compartment mate, about me, and she goes, yeah, I have to share the sleeper now with this girl, and she's really ugly. I just laid there staring out the window. I knew I looked rough. I hadn't showered properly in days. My hair was messy. I had dark circles under my eyes from not sleeping, and I was wearing a wrinkled t-shirt. But hearing someone actually say it out loud while I'm right there, that stung a little. The thing is, I didn't even really care that she thought I was ugly. Whatever. I was more annoyed that she felt comfortable trash-talking me in front of me, just because she assumed I couldn't understand her like I was just some dumb American kid who didn't know any better. I sat there for a minute thinking about whether I should say something or just let it go. But then I thought, you know what? I'm bored. I'm sore, and I have nothing better to do. Might as well make this interesting. So I waited. I didn't want to call her out right then, because that would have been too obvious. I needed the perfect moment. Something subtle, but effective. The next morning, I had to use the bathroom again. I climbed down from my bunk and started walking past her bed like I always did. She was awake, watching something on her phone. I made sure to catch her eye, gave her the sweetest, most innocent smile I could manage, and said, Dareo, Darala, in my best Chinese accent. Excuse me for disturbing you. Polite, respectful, perfect. Her face went completely white, like all the color just drained out in 2 seconds. She looked at me, then back at her phone, then at me again. Her mouth opened like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. I just kept smiling, walked past her into the bathroom, closed the door, and I had to bite my hand to keep from laughing out loud because the look on her face was priceless. When I came back out, she was staring straight ahead down the corridor, not looking at me at all. I got back into my bunk, plugged my phone in, and went back to my show. She didn't call her daughter again for the rest of the time I was on that train, not once. The compartment was dead silent, except for the quiet music from my phone. She knew I'd understood every word she said, and now she had to sit there wondering how much else I'd picked up. A few hours later, we arrived in Chengdu, but before I left, I made sure to say, Zaijin, on my way out. Goodbye.